Today we're diving into a true icon of World War II history, the German Military Motorbike with Sidecar. This kit brings serious detail, and in this video I'll show you how I built it and weathered this wartime workhorse step by step. We'll also explore some fascinating history, including how a bike like this ended up in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, even though Hollywood got the year wrong. I'll start with the sidecar, and the flash in the parts is dreadful, a lot of clean up on these. Join the two halves together and use the putty to hide the seam line. Why do I use masking tape? Simple, it's messy stuff, so by masking it, the putty will only go where you want it. Once dry, file down to smooth. Put the hatch on that will hold the spare wheel, but I noticed here there was a gap. Looking at the instructions, there shouldn't be, and there's no mention of a part to be added. However, rummaging through the bags, there was a loose piece that fits, so that must be it, though there is no mention of it. There's no markings for these rails either, so it's best guess. There are markings though for the side too. Now I'll build up the front of the car. And assemble the cases. Onto the chassis for the sidecar, and this piece is broken but it won't matter. And now I'll build up the chassis, taking this opportunity to step back into history just for a moment. Did you know the real German military bikes had some incredibly innovative features for their time? Let's dive quickly into the fascinating history behind these iconic wartime motorcycles. In 1938, based on a specific request from the German army, BMW and Zundap received the brief to start a co-joint development project able to guarantee the highest number of common components to optimize the maintenance activities and the spare parts logistic. The prototypes had been released in 1940 and the production started at the beginning of 1941. Its unusual feature was to have the sidecar wheel that was driven with an axle connected to the rear wheel of the motorbike. These were fitted with a locking differential and selectable gear ratios to optimize the on-road off-road performance. It was widely used, proving its reliability and sturdiness on all most important operating theatres and environmental conditions from North Africa to Russia. After priming in mid-grey, I sprayed it desert yellow, along with the canisters in the main body. And finished the chassis. And I cut up two lengths of tubing, 3 and 3.5 cm in length, and attach. Moving on to the interior parts of the car, and the seat I did flat black. The wooden floorboards, I sprayed them stone. Then dry brush in black. And sprayed it smoke to darken it. Then clear yellow and clear orange. And there's your dirty wood effect. I will of course remove the gloss shine. The seat I brushed with a couple of different shades of Humbrol dust just to give it a worn look. And that's the sidecar completed. I'll now start on the bike and get going with the engine. It's quite annoying, I must say, having to find the parts like this. Some of it's okay, as the parts are on the same sprue, but a lot of them aren't. But anyway, I'll put as much of the engine I can together before spraying it aluminium, and certain other parts flat black. I'll use panel liner on the engine as well, and cut lengths of cable required that will come from the engine. Onto the engine frame, and I'll spray it desert yellow along with the other frame parts. Earlier we touched on the advanced features of these bikes, but did you know, unlike many allied bikes adapted from civilian models, the BMW R75 and Zundap KS750 were specifically engineered for military use. To streamline logistics and repairs, the German army ordered BMW and Zundap to standardise components, resulting in over 70% of the parts interchangeable between the R75 and KS750. You might recognise the bike and sidecar from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, that famous chase scene. The film, however, is set in 1938, but the bike didn't go into production until 1941. In fact, the actual bikes used in the chase sequence for the film were Dnieper MT-11s, dressed up to resemble the German motorcycle. In reality, the Germans in 1938 would have used something like a BMW R12 or Zundap KS600, less rugged and more civilian looking. But it's a common case in Hollywood of using what looks right, not what is right. Still, a great sequence nonetheless. This piece broke off, and the tip where the cable is to sit is missing, so I'll cut the tip off a toothpick and use it. First drill into the existing piece and stick the toothpick in and paint white, and you wouldn't even notice. And more bike parts in desert yellow, including the tank. Now cut clear cable for underneath the tank. And add the spring to the seat. The parts like the seats are in black already, but I'm spraying them flat black to take the shine off them. Now for the rear mudguard, again all desert yellow. For the rear light, I painted it chrome first, then clear red. It gives it a more realistic look. Now I'll build up the rear seat. And the wheels desert yellow. And now build up the frame for the front wheel. And continue building up the bike. And now onto the frame for the front wheel and build it up. I added the decal for the speedometer with crystal clear. When dry it goes clear. As you can see, I'm weathering the bike as I go along, literally just with a nail file. Now fit the front wheel. And the handlebars and parts desert yellow as well, with the brakes aluminium. And with the handlebars on, fit the rest of the cables to it. I'll paint the M34 machine gun gunmetal with the butt flat black. Now I'll weather the sidecar, again simply using a nail file. And now wash it to give it a greasy look. And I'll also add the decals. Finally, the toolkit. And there you have it, the iconic Wehrmacht motorcycle and sidecar, fully detailed and ready to roll straight out of history onto my display shelf. I hope you enjoyed this build and picked up a few new tricks along the way. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below and subscribe to stay updated on future builds and projects. Thanks for watching, keep building, keep exploring history. For now, hailing frequencies closed.